It was a Monday, 11 a.m., and I had already rejected my null hypothesis. That is to say, it was a day like any other day, dull and uneventful. The name's Phantoms, Detective Phantoms. I'm a private eye. My mind is my gun, and statistics are my bullets. Though my gun gets stuck quite a bit, and my bullets often misfire. It's true. Statistics aren't an exact science, and that's a problem for me, because it turns out that people get mad when you make a type 1 error and send the wrong guy to the slammer. Not like it's my fault or anything. After all, replication is hard to come by in my line of work. Not as hard to come by as clients, however. I had just finished my breakfast of pancake syrup and was disgusted at the thought of my lunch consisting only of ketchup and mayonnaise, when all of a sudden, like sweet manna out of heaven, a bearded man dashed into my office, a man who I've never seen before. He must have been pretty desperate if he was coming to me for help, of all people, but who was I to judge? He was exasperated, as someone running a chi-squared test by hand would be, eventually choking out my name, Detective Phantoms. He started rambling on about some child of his who was taken or something like that. I wasn't listening too closely, but I got the gist of it.
Hey, that's rude.
I decided to let the man finish his thought.
That that's it. Will you help me?
In order to decide whether or not to take the case, I quickly calculated the probability of success based on samples of similar cases that I have conveniently stored in my brain. One possibility is that I find and capture the culprit, and I'll be handsomely rewarded, as well as finally being able to eat food that was actually intended for human consumption. The alternative possibility, however, is that I may get shot and killed, or have my flesh ripped off by a pack of hungry mountain lions. That's an outlier I won't soon forget. Anyway, based on my totally legitimate data, I calculated that the probability of success is around zero point 0.6, and the probability of death by shooting and or mountain lions is around zero point 0.4. I was wary, to say the least. I mean, a 40% chance of biting the dust is something that requires heavy, heavy consideration. However, I was thinking about my dinner plans for that night, and remembering how Thousand Island dressing and hot dog water don't go great together. I couldn't just turn the man down, so I took the case. Now, if the photo evidence that I acquired was any indication, this case was going to be an absolute mess. I mean, how was I supposed to get an appropriate sample from this? There were 7 eerily similar looking guys in the restaurant at the time of the kidnapping. If I ever wanted to run a test on these suspects, was I to assume that there are 70 different people out there that look exactly alike and were around here at the time of the kidnapping? That's ridiculous. I mean, because of the super small sample size, there was no possible way that I could guarantee normality. It looked like I had absolutely no choice but to proceed with caution. These are the 4 subjects that I've randomly selected from the restaurant at the night of the kidnapping. I'm fairly confident that one of these people is the kidnapper, but not that guy. He's totally tubular, yo. It's time for me to survey the subjects. I told the subjects that they have been randomly selected to participate in a survey to gauge their capacity for evil, and I'll be using a chi-squared test of homogeneity. I'm going to relay a problem to them, let's see if they can follow a chi-squared test of homogeneity. For my HO, being at the restaurant there was no kidnapping, and one of my HA being at the restaurant that there is, let's look at the condition, and one of the four being the kidnapper. Random 10%. I'm going to assume everyone in the restaurant, even those have reason to believe that there is a connection between one of these four being the kidnapper degrees of being alpha are at 7.01. Since P is less than alpha, I will reject the HO, meaning that I can set a phantom at my p-value as a 0.00.
It was me! I did it.
That guy gets me every time. But no, really. It was him! So, after our little survey, he spilled the beans and gave me the lead I needed. For once in my life, I finally successfully solved a case. No more tartar sauce sloppily enhanced with liquid smoke. Well, at least not for like another week or so. Well, alls I gots to do is release her.
Damn.
Well, crime doesn't pay, especially for this poor fella. When word got out to his gang that the kidnapping was a bust, he paid with his life. Well, now it's clear to see that there is a strong, positive, linear correlation between the number of bullets in his chest and the fact that he's dead. I admit I may not be the best detective, but statistically speaking, I was bound to solve one case by random chance sooner or later. And you know what? I'll try for another.